Good morning, Mayor Bowser, DISB, and community members. My name is May Best, and I'm the Executive Director of the East River Family Strengthening Collaborative. And on behalf of our Board of Directors, our Board Chair, Dr. Janice Davis, and staff, I'd like to welcome you to Ward 7 and to our new home. We moved into this facility in November, so this is our first meeting. And we definitely would like to welcome you here. We have Chris Donatelli here, who was very generous to allow us to move here. And they have also created a space for us for our Family Success Center, which is going to be next door and will be opening up in February. Offering free tax services and helping residents earn the Earned Income Tax Credit is something that we definitely believe in. For over 15 years, East River has been providing tax services to the community residents free, and we would like to continue to do that. We really appreciate you all coming here to talk about the Earned Income Tax Credit, and we have a number of services that we offer here at East River, and there are tables back in the back. We provide services for families, youth, children, seniors, so it's a range of services that we provide. So we are very happy that you're here and welcome. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am Carla Stewart. I'm a proud single mom. I'm a Ward 4 resident. Over the past 20 years, I've lived in D.C. I've been able to take advantage of free tax preparation services. And I'm here to tell you it's been a great experience to take advantage of services like that. They have volunteered, certified, and qualified tax preparers to help you with your tax returns. And I've been able to take advantage of that and feel assured that I'm also saving money and that my taxes are being done the right way and I'm getting them back at a decent time. And last year, I'm also an employee of the Department of Public Works. I'm a seasonal employee there. This is my third term. So using these tax services has helped me and my family in a great deal because I'm able to save money in that way. I also, well, my son is 8 now, so you already know kids can be very, very expensive. Using the services, the free tax services, has helped me to stay abreast on top of utility bills and just take care of unexpected hardships that come up during the summer. During the summer activities, I was able to use that extra money to help him and help my family in ways like that. So it's been a huge help. I encourage others to use and utilize the tax services as well, because I was able to use the tax credit that I didn't even know that I was qualified for. But the tax services that they have, they're able to help you with all of your tax needs, and they make it so that if you're eligible for those things, they take care of all those things for you, like the child tax credit, the earned income credit that was available to me. And like I said, I use that money to help in various ways, and it's been a tremendous help. I'm very grateful to you, Mayor Bowser. Now it's a great honor for me to introduce third elect term Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here. And I am very pleased to hear that our Family Success Center will be opening nearby. I want to give May Best a big round of applause and appreciation for all the work that she does with the East River Family Strengthening Collaborative. right here in Ward 7. And it's always important to kind of emphasize to our residents who are listening at home all of the various services and great organizations that we work with to invest in DC residents and families. And our investment in the collaboratives around the city, in this case, East River here in Ward 7, brings government closer to residents and brings government right in their own neighborhoods, whether it's human services supports, job supports, or tax supports, which is what we're talking about today. So just remember, when you hear East River Family Strengthening Collaborative, I know you think of May Best, but also think of the entire DC government who's really working through May and her great team here to make sure you're connected to all that DC government has to offer. So we're here to talk about taxes. There's only a couple things that are certain in life. And we're talking about taxes. And more than that, we're talking about why and how you can keep more of your money. And in some cases, especially with the earned income tax, how you're just getting money from the federal government in most cases, but we also have a local earned income tax credit. So I want to acknowledge some members of my team, Commissioner Karima Woods, first of all. And Karima is the Commissioner and Director of the Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking. So a lot of the financial issues that you will deal with in your day-to-day life are regulated by DSB. I've also challenged Karima and her team to be a part of how more DC residents are building wealth, coming up with ideas for wealth building in the district as well. I also want to recognize Teresa Hentz, who is the Executive Director of Community Tax Aid. Thank you, Teresa, for being here and for your expertise in helping our residents with their taxes. So what I really want to focus on is making sure no money gets left on the table. And I am not a tax expert, but I do know too many DC residents who don't or believe they don't need to file a tax return, then leave money that they're owed on the table because they're not then applying for the earned income tax credit. This is money back for people who work and for people who have low or moderate incomes. Generally, individuals and families making less than $60,000, and you don't have to have kids. You just need to be in the eligible income range, and you need to apply. There are two earned income tax credits, a federal credit and a local credit. And the federal EITC, you get anywhere from $560 to $7,000, depending on your family size. Now, who doesn't need $7,000? And that really just requires that you are filing and filling out the IRS form when you do your taxes. In the district, we also have our own, a local EITC. And in the past, if you filed for the local, we would look back, they would look back at what you got from the federal credit and give you an additional 40% on top of that. Who doesn't need 40% on top of $7,000? So families who qualify for both credits have gotten up to $9,000 back. Okay, so hear me well. There are two credits. If you earn less than $60,000 with kids or without kids, you may qualify. And that credit, that just means that's what's coming back, could be anywhere from $560,000 to $9,000. So can everybody commit to telling somebody about this? To making sure that when they file, and you have to file your return, that you're also applying for these credits. We've also got more good news. We're bumping up the amount you get back from DC. So in addition to getting 40% on top of the federal tax credit, you will get instead 70% on top of the federal tax credit. So if you think you qualify, just ask while you're filling out your taxes, and there are lots of free services that you can go to. This is the other thing I like to emphasize. I'm not sure if it's in my notes, but the free services. Okay, so there are a lot of people who will say, come in, pay for this. We'll even give you an advance on your tax return. Oh, and by the way, we're going to take a really onerous fee from you. So if you start now, start early, apply, go to someplace free, you can keep all of your money, and you don't have to pay for somebody to prepare it, and you definitely don't have to pay these, terrible fees to get access to your own money. So please look for free services. I also want to call out to our senior property owners to make sure that you are getting the benefits of your senior property tax deductions. I think everybody knows, although every time I mention this, there's somebody who qualifies who's not getting it. We have a local property tax credit for residents who are 65 and older, and in certain income brackets, that they pay 50% of their property taxes. But again, you must apply. We are partnering with the AARP, who will be providing tax support at some of our libraries, including the MLK Library downtown. Finally, let me mention something about our tax benefits. If you have children enrolled in a DC child care center, you are also eligible to get money back. We created the child care tax credit in 2018 and made it permanent. Families can get $1,000 back per child enrolled in child care. So with the deadline coming to file your taxes April 18th, we want residents to get that process started just as soon as possible. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Woods.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here with you today. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for all of the support and resources that you provide for my agency to ensure that we're providing the necessary resources like tax preparation and tax credits for district residents. My name is Karima Woods, Commissioner for the District's Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking, and I am ecstatic to be here with you all today as we kick off tax season. I know some of you are excited about that, and some of you may not be, but at the department we are. So we're pleased to be here. I want to first just recognize a few of our partners here today. First, thank you to May Best for hosting us today at the East River Family Strengthening Collaborative. Thank you for the work that you do on the behalf of district residents and families to ensure that they are self-sufficient. I also want to recognize all of our partners that are here, and we've got a lot, so make sure when we leave today that you get a chance to visit some of the tables that are here. We have UPO, who's also providing free tax preparation services. We have other district agencies like the DC Office of Aging and Community Living. We also have Community Tax Aid that is here today. We also have legal counseling for the elderly that are here, and of course the DC Office of Tax and Revenue. So please make sure that you connect with some of our partners here today. We want you to leave informed about how you can take advantage of this very important tax credit. As the mayor mentioned, the Earned Income Tax Credit program is vital to district residents. To apply for EITC, you must first file a tax return. That's essential. And we want to make sure that you utilize free tax preparation. And so we'll have information here today about some of those locations. In addition, so who is eligible for the DC EITC program? If you qualify for the federal EITC and did not claim the district low income tax credit, then you're eligible. To qualify for the federal EITC, you must have first worked and earned under $59,187, have investment income below $10,300 in the tax year of 2022, have a valid Social Security number during the tax year, before the 2022 tax year ends, be a U.S. citizen or an immigrant, not have filed Form 2555, which is the foreign earned income form, and lastly, meet certain rules if you are separated from your spouse and not filing a joint tax return. I know that's a lot of information. We have that information available. We'll also, through the support of our mayor, be providing through our partnership with the United Way of the National Capital Area a Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day this Friday, January 27th. It is a virtual event, but we'll be sharing more information around how to take advantage of EITC. In addition, if you have questions, we do have representatives today from the D.C. Office of Tax Revenue. Elena Folks from OTR is here, and so she'll be able to answer any questions you may have, particularly during the Q&A period. A little bit about DSB, as the mayor mentioned, we're also charged with making sure that we support district residents and being financially resilient. So we have a host of different programs that we want to make sure you're aware of and fully take advantage of. We want to support every resident in Washington, D.C. around their financial goals. Programs like the D.C. Opportunity Accounts Program, which is a 4-to-1 match savings program, our Financially Fit D.C. program, which assists you with managing budgets and supporting you on all ranges of your financial goals. And then lastly, our Bank on DC program, which is for the unbanked and underbanked here in the district. We're here to support you. Visit our website, disb.dc.gov, for more information. Visit our table where we have a host of information here today. And again, I want to just thank you for your time and attention. And with that, I'll pass things over to Teresa Hines with the Community Tax Aid. Thank you.
So we can't thank enough May Best and our hosts here at East River Family Strengthening Collaborative, and also the Mayor, Commissioner Woods and Disby, for really supporting our residents with tax credits. As they mentioned, the earned income credit is getting larger. The Mayor also mentioned other important credits, such as the credits for senior homeowners. There's also a credit for low-income renters, and the important child care credit, which is for children under 4 and for families that don't receive daycare subsidies. So these are important DC credits. And I've been tasked with talking about one credit and also talking to you about free tax prep. So a couple of the other things I just wanted to mention is if you still have missing stimulus payments, you may need to file a 20 or 21 return to get those, or to check with one of the low-income taxpayer clinics. If you call Community Tax Aid, we can connect you to help track down your missing stimulus payments. And if you had children in the house under 18 and did not file a 2021 tax return, you may be missing out on the child tax credit, which was a large refundable tax credit up to $3,000 per child and up to $3,600 per child for children under 6. So if you haven't filed in a couple of years, you may want to check in and see if you need to file some of those older year tax returns. If you really haven't filed in a while, your 2019 refunds are going to expire on April 18th. So we'll want to see you at one of our tax sites. So as has been mentioned, is East River Family Strengthening Collaborative has had a tax site for over 15 years, and it's going to continue this year across in the parking lot next to the Uber Information Center. We'll still be at that location. The United Planning Organization, which is here, has a tax site at the PD Green Center. And as mentioned, the ARP has sites at several libraries, and Community Tax Aid volunteers are at the main library downtown. You will find on the DSB table, I put together a flyer that has how to contact the various organizations that are providing free tax prep and an important list of the information you need. If you don't have all your documents, it's a good time to start collecting them. And I always encourage people, for your protection, the volunteers are required to verify your identity. So you do have to have valid photo ID and social security cards for everyone on the tax return. So it's a good time to start collecting that information. And more, we're receiving our tax documents electronically. And you just want to make sure you have those passwords and usernames so you can get all the information you need. And so I'm going to turn it back over for Q&A.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's a lot of information. You have the Family Strengthening Collaborative here. You know about the tax sites, and we'll make sure you have all of the websites available as well. So with that, I'll take a few press questions. Yes.
Mayor Bowser, first on the free tax services, who qualifies for those free tax services in the district?
Who wants to answer that question?
So generally it's serving DC residents with income under $60,000. The ARP sites are tasked with serving residents over age 60 of any income. And then there are some limits on the scope of training. So you may find you have a more complex tax situation, which we can help you identify. But generally, anything within the scope of the certification, as our second speaker mentioned, all of the volunteers are trained and certified annually. So as long as your tax situation meets their training, we can help you.
And then, Mayor Bowser, everybody spoke about it. Is there any number as to how many households or tax filers miss out on some of these tax credits, or how much money is left on the table?
Do you know that number? I don't know that number, Mark, but I think we can get that back to you because we do follow it. I'm sorry, I don't have that with me.
I have one last on-topic question, and that is kind of the flip side of taxes and tax refunds is the revenue the city and the government anticipates and counts on. Next month, we will get from the CFO the outlook, the forecast for the next revenue estimates. September and December's forecasts warned about what you've been talking about, downtown, the empty commercial property space. What are your concerns if those properties are as low as they've been and their assessments are lower, and thus the taxes you'll collect downtown will be lower?
Well, our last estimate, you may recall, Mark, that our downtown was kind of holding its own. We didn't see the values decrease in the way that the CFO had estimated. They did decrease, but not as much as they could have. And we continue to think that our values are holding pretty well. We will, of course, adjust. The district, unlike the Congress, has to have a balanced budget. So we will look at our revenues. We will look at our priorities for investment, and we will proceed with a balanced budget that we submit to the council. What I spoke about when I had the opportunity to give my inaugural address recently was, in fact, having a robust downtown. So you'll hear me talking about investments we need to make in that downtown allows us to make investments in affordable housing, in schools, in public safety, in transportation. And in some of our programs, we're leading the nation in how progressive they are. So if we want to maintain that level of service, and we do, it's very important that we also have a robust and vibrant downtown. So we'll continue to focus on that. Now, the other thing that all of us, we have to budget for our own households, and we know we have a certain amount coming in, and either we make more or we spend less, and that's how you arrive at a balanced budget. Now, I don't think that we can, in the face of possible revenue declines, also be spending more, creating new, doing different. I think that we have to work on the programs, on the very robust programs we offer in the district, and make sure that they're effective.
Are you referring to the free metro with the surplus from the revenue?
No, I'm referring to anything that's new. It's sort of the thing, like if we have new spending, then we either have to raise taxes to pay for it, or we have to cut something else that either we like or that we think is not that effective. Those are our options. And what I want to caution everybody about is at a time where we're trying to make sure we're retaining residents and businesses, that raising taxes to pay for new programs is not the way to go. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions from the press? Press questions, press questions, press questions. Okay, any other questions? Yes.
How do we know which programs that we do not need unnecessarily? Because I have an issue with DPR having programs for children. I have 2 children. Every time I go to the Edgewood Recreation Center, they complain they don't have no staff for the programs that they're offering. So is there any way we can get any more programs at the Recreation Center for the children?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Have positive activities for them to, have different ways.
Sure.
To get some change for the children.
Yep.
Can we get some funds for that?
Sure. Yes, ma'am. So you asked a great question. How do we, especially as citizens, weigh in on the programs that we're funding? Or weigh in on saying we need more funding here or we need better use of those funds there. So every year I conduct budget engagement forums, and we'll make sure all of the family support centers, family success centers have access to that. We've done them over the last couple of years virtually, where you could come in person or you could follow online. That's one way. Over the weekend, I hosted a meeting, an all ANC meeting, where the subject of DPR programming came up. And it's really, I don't go anywhere where somebody's saying that they are getting everything they want from a recreation center. Now, keep in mind that our DPR centers are for the most part for all ages. So for young people and for seniors and everyone in between. And what I think we're working with is not that we don't have programs, because we certainly do. We may not have all the programs who are engaging everybody. So we're open to a discussion of what we need to add. You also mentioned staffing, and you've probably heard me say by now that DC government is hiring. Because we are. There are a lot of places. Some of these directors may have openings right now for people. And DPR has also been hiring, so that we're getting at all of our centers back to pre-pandemic programming. And some of that is related to staff shortages. We're having staff shortages in a number of our agencies. So if you want to work at DPR, if you want to drive a bus, call us, because we are hiring and we need quality people who can work with children and who want to work with children to step up. And especially in DPR's case, because right now we want to get back to our hours all over the city. But in the summer, we're adding even more opportunities for camps. So we really need, and we will only be able to do that with good people stepping up who want to come work with us. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
This sounds great, but I'm interested in knowing, how are you getting the word out? For example, churches, organizations. We're good, and I'll do the best I can, but What about getting the word out to those places?
It is always, and we have an office, our Office of Community Affairs, that works with constituencies all across the district, from our Office of Latino Affairs to Women's Policy and Initiatives to Fatherhood, Men and Boys, African American Affairs, and the Mayor's Office of Religious Affairs. In addition to Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs, Caribbean Affairs, an office for people who are deaf and deaf-blind. So among all of those offices, they're doing outreach activities every single day, somewhere, every week, to get that information out. And so we have a network of pastors that we work with, synagogues, the imams, everybody, to get this information out. But you put your finger on it, though, because regardless of all of that, somebody won't hear it. And so you cannot underestimate the power of word of mouth, touching your networks. Just a call. I was at a meeting today with the mayor. Tell 10 people. Are you getting ready to file your taxes? Have you gotten your W-2? You getting your materials together? She said you could get $9,000 back. Did you know? Did you get your $9,000 back? So don't underestimate the power of those conversations. Okay. Yes. Oh, and that's 2 questions. I'll take it.
So I want to get back to the Department of Recreation situation with the children. Is it going to be a way that people who receive TANF can afford some of the programs that you offering at the rec centers? Because I see that on the website, it's like plenty of charges for things for the children, the swimming and the soccer. And I know that there's a charge and a fee.
I would have to ask DPR to respond to you about their programs that don't have fees or how the fees can be waived, because I'm pretty sure that is available, and the fees are small on like their programs. They're not small? Okay. All right, I got it. I'll look into it. Okay, it's like, give me an example so I can, one thing that I can ask the director about. No, okay. Oh, what I'm going to find out is about who qualifies for fee waivers. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm great.
Do you ever get invitations to come out to our centers?
Yes.
Centers?
Which one? Wellness centers?
Yes, here on Alabama Avenue.
Yes.
And then you have one Congress. Do you ever get an invitation to come out and visit us sometime?
I do. Are you back?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what now I come to a lot of the wellness centers for a course. Now everybody wasn't back until recently. So there was a lot of hybrid activity, and which, I was supportive of to keep everybody safe. But I do think everybody should be back at the wellness center, getting together in person, having activities, and I would be delighted to come out. You can just send it to, we will sometimes plan events, but I would prefer to come to something you already have going on. So you can invite me through my scheduling office or through DACL. All right. Thank you, everybody.
You have people that do not have access to computers, don't know how to use online services.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why a lot of information and free resources are not getting around, especially with seniors. They're not equipped, to go on these computers and everything.
Well, that's why we have all of the free services that you can walk in and somebody can assist you online. That's in that we have at our libraries, we have them at our success centers. And guess what? We also have a lot of our seniors taking classes and getting free iPads. So you'd be surprised. Our seniors are connected on iPads. They're connected on their smartphones. But your point is taken. I've always believed, I've been doing community outreach and organization to try to get people to meetings, get them for a long time. And I don't think there is one perfect answer to touching every person. So that's why we try to go to multiple ways. Well, I'm a paper person too, but I know, I know if it means me getting $9,000, I'm going to be paper, electronic, go to the library. I'm going to be all of those kind of people to get my $9,000. And I'm not going to stand up in front of anybody and say, you know what? Why you didn't get me my $9,000? I'm not going to do that, because I know that what a $9,000 would mean in the difference in my household. So this is what I'm doing. We have our friends in the press out there. It's going to be on the news. All right. It's going to be on all our social media. We're going to ask all of our networks to do it. But I want people to be listening out, because there are a lot of ways that we in this government can help. And I'm taking this young lady's point, because another thing that I mentioned in my remarks in my inaugural was how do we keep people in DC that are in the middle class and trying to get to the middle class? And a lot of it, the difference between a free program for Parks and Rec could mean a difference in a person feeling like they want to live in DC and raise their families in DC. It's just that simple. Kids Ride Free, I developed years ago because that could make a difference. People were spending $30 a month per kid to put their kid on the bus, but Kids Ride Free took that away. So we're looking at all of those ways. I had forgotten about this tax credit I created for parents a couple of years ago to keep, I forget what we called it, but it's $1,000 that you get when you file your taxes. You will get $1,000 if your kid under 4 is in daycare, in unsubsidized daycare. That's real. $1,000 is real money. So we're always looking for ways to strengthen our middle class, people who are in it and people who are trying to get to it, by making sure as much that we can do to help you make the difference between your family being comfortable in DC or not, we're going to try to do. So let me take 3 more questions and we'll wrap. There's a question here and question here and question here. Yes, sir.
What are some assessments we can have for single fathers that are better in that district?
Come again?
What are some better assessments we can have for the single fathers in D.C.?
Better assessments?
Like child care, the father being on his own, things like that.
Okay, well, I think what I would ask you to do is connect with Ms. Best or fathers in general, because most of... What? Okay. I don't know specifically what we have there, so I'm going to ask Ms. Best if she can connect you with dads who are trying to gain custody, dads making sure they can have access to all of the programs, including what we've talked about today. So thanks for that question. Yes. Good afternoon.
The Washington Seniors Wellness Center would love to have someone to come in and talk to us about financial literacy. So do we contact you?
Yeah, Disby would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
And didn't Commissioner Woods do an outstanding job? She is really focused on financial literacy. She's just been an amazing leader for that organization, and she's always looking for ways that, like, our vision for a fair shot and a pathway for everybody to the middle class is lived in the work that we do. Okay, last question here, ma'am.
Yes. How you doing?
Good.
I want to address an issue about the grocery stores. Why the grocery store prices so high and they nasty on 40th Street? Is that the only store that's going to be open? Is they going to open any other stores?
Are you talking about the Safeway?
Yeah, the Safeway.
Okay. No, we are, I hope that you're following. We have a big effort to help redevelop this whole corner, which would include, we hope, a new grocery store. But we continue to work on that, and we continue to work with a Safeway to make sure that they can stay open and that they can stay open in a way that is serving the community. So we'll keep those conversations going. Secondly, at Capitol Gateway, we announced that we're working with Giant to try to fix the problem that was created when Walmart left, which has been complicated, but we continue to work to try to bring a full-service Giant to that location. Is not like immediately in this community, but not far. We also opened last year a new grocery store at Skyland, the Lidl, which we're very happy about. There hadn't been a full service grocery open in Ward 7 in 15 years. So the addition of Lidl has meant a lot to neighbors. But we want to keep you posted of where we are with the new Giant. And hopefully a redeveloped store here. Okay. Thank you, everybody.